You're welcome back. Now, once a bustling hub of trade in Ghana's central region during the transatlantic slave trade, Fort Amsterdam now stands in ruins, a haunting relic of rich yet neglected history. Tonight, we delve into the mysteries and memories hidden within the abandoned fort and ask what can be done to preserve this historical treasure. Correspondent in the central region is Calvis Teta, and he's been looking at Fort Amsterdam.
As one drives along the abandoned stretch of the Accra-Cape Coast Highway, a towering structure looms in the distance. Fort Amsterdam, perched dramatically above the road, overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. Constructed by the Dutch in 1631 on the remnant of a former Portuguese fort, the site was strategically chosen to promote trade and safeguard Dutch interest in the region. During the brutal years of transatlantic slave trade, Fort Amsterdam became a key point of transit, holding enslaved Africans before their forced journey to the Americas. In addition to its role in human trafficking, the fort was a center of gold trade where the Dutch exchanged goods with local rulers in return for precious metals. Today, however, the once vibrant fort is a shadow of its former self. Time and neglect have taken their toll, and the local community is increasingly concerned about the lack of attention from authorities. Inside the fort, stone walls still stand, but many of its artifacts and structures are deteriorating rapidly. Questions arise about the tourism authorities' effort or lack thereof in safeguarding this significant piece of history. Joseph Akofo, a local tour guide, has taken it upon himself to address some of the fort's maintenance challenges. Yet the magnitude of the issue extends beyond the capacity and requires urgent intervention from higher authority.
It is British first fort which was built in Africa.
This particular
fort we are in.
In what year?
1631. And purposely for merchant gold business. This is the only fort in this country which was not actually built for slavery. So, it is the smallest fort among all the forts we have in the country. The Dutch defeated the British and took the fort. They changed the name Fort Commandantine to Fort Amsterdam. And even they made this place as their headquarters in the whole West Africa for their merchants. So when the ship got to Elmina, they have to transport those of here on forts to join them at Elmina. So that is how they used the fort over 200 years for slavery, the Dutch. And after then, 18th century, the British came back to the country.
Fort Amsterdam was the site of immense suffering, a dark chapter in the lives of countless enslaved Africans who endured inhumane conditions under the control of slave traders. Joseph Akofo walks us through some of these painful stories, shedding light on the brutal experiences faced within these walls.
Our water tank. That is the water tank.
A big water tank?
Yeah. Okay. And then it comes down to where they have packed small white pure stones in that hole there as a filter. So to this side was the condensed cells.
Okay, so this is a condensed cell?
Condensed cells.
This is how the whole place works?
Yeah, even there's a light you can see, but the original door, there's no light from anywhere.
So you don't even see sunshine?
You don't see anything. A door to the female cells.
So this is the entrance to the female cells?
Yes.
Okay, so now we have the male cells exactly opposite the female cells?
Yeah. Okay. Which contains 150 women. 150? Yes.
Okay. And what are these rooms?
These rooms, they use it to punish the women. In case if you may not allow yourself to be raped, they will put you here for punishment. Okay. So that leads to the guard room. And then we have the only original wooden door, which has left in the fort. 361 years door.
This door is 361 years old?
Yes. I'm telling you. And it's still heavy. To the upstairs, we have the soldiers' rooms, and where they have their entertainment, and also there are two leaders where also have their entertainment, and where their leaders are also staying above over there.
So even if they are here, they can still monitor what is happening?
Oh yes.
Outside. Further along the coast stands Fort William in Anomabo, constructed in 1753 by the British. It is one of several forts that played an active role in the slave trade. The fort's design and grimly purposeful with massive dungeons and quarters for slave masters. 4 distinct dungeons remain for men, women, concubine, and children, the latter meant for the offsprings of enslaved individuals. Despite its imposing presence, Fort William, like Fort Amsterdam, suffered from neglect. Poor maintenance and limited support have resulted in dwindling visitors' numbers and concerns from local authorities. Theresa Quason, the fort's manager, guides us through the premises and shares stories of unimaginable hardship endured by the enslaved individuals confined within its walls.
This is Fort William, built in 1753 by the British. But then we had the Dutch. So the Dutch had the down floors, and then the British bought it from the Dutch, and then they had to put up the story. We are in the auction room. So we have those 2 original platforms. They used to be scaled to check their height, their weight, and their physical strength before they are selected as slaves. Yeah, where the female were kept. We can see from here, they were fortunate they had bigger space, but then their number was more. So they were kept here more. So we had 2 ventilation holes, and then the same hole was used their food to pass through to them. 271 years, this shackle house has been here. And this particular one was the guard room for the soldiers who were rebelling against their masters. So we are going to the male condemned cell.
This is the male condemned cell?
Yes, the male condemned cell. The male who were aggressive.
And so they pass through this narrow channel?
Yes. And with this place, you'll be in chains. For this place, as I told you initially, they just chain all those who survived in the dungeons, various dungeons. They will chain them and then put them in their shackles and then walk them through the gate of no return. It means their ship has arrived, so they are going to be shipped to the Caribbean, Jamaican, Barbados, Chesapeake.
This was initially Fort Commandant, one of the first forts built by the British in Africa. After some years, the Dutch took over and named it Fort Amsterdam. People I've spoken to are calling for renovations to be done on this fort to preserve this. Carl Stete, ChannelOne News, Abanze.